Hey, it's Harrison, and today I am reviewing the MOTUS FLEX by VIVOBAREFOOT. I've been wearing these for about a month now, and I'm going to tell you why these are fast becoming my go-to pair of shoes. Let's get into it. First of all, the design. Now, obviously, it's the sole that stood out the most to me. I actually remember seeing these on a VIVOBAREFOOT live stream. They were talking about, I can't actually remember. They were talking about like the range, the different collections of shoes, upcoming shoes, things like that. And this was something that they were talking about, that they weren't available at the time. And I remember seeing it and thinking, need, just need. It was that Futurama meme of take my money now. I saw the sole and I was blown away. This was actually during the process of the Pioneer program for the Vivo Biomes. So these shoes, so I was going through the process at the time of trying these ones out. So I saw these and thought, oh, I feel like these are gonna be the answer anyway. But then when they finally became available, I just couldn't afford it. I didn't have the money at the time, and I thought, I don't need them. I've got 3 pairs of Biomes now through that process. Those were like they're my trainers. I've got loads of Vivos. I don't need to be spending yet more money. So I just didn't pull the trigger on these. And I really wish I pulled the trigger sooner, because then I could have told you sooner that these things are awesome. Going back to the sole, it's decoupled. It's technically made of like 3 bits because it joins, but there's a space around the toes and the arch of your foot where there's literally no sole at all. So it's super flexible underfoot. Now, I also still wear these with the insole in, and I'll tell you why. I actually did take them out, but I'm not a fan, and this is one downside, so I will make this clear. So under the foot with the insole in, they're super comfortable, they're soft, flexible. The insole adds a little bit of cushion to make it more comfortable. The insole comes out, but when you take the insole out, there's actually like there's a seam that runs, I can't show it on the camera because of just where it is, it's like completely inside the shoe, but there's like a seam of, I guess, the sock to the sole, so there's like a knit seam or something, it's hard to explain, but it runs kind of down the outer side underfoot, so you can feel it. Whereas when you've got the insole in, you don't feel that. So for me, it's not uncomfortable, it's not intrusive, it's not rough or anything like that, but you can feel it. And for me, it's not like having a stone in, because it's not that bad or that frustrating, but it's just there. And if you don't mind that, then it's totally fine. But for me, insole stays in, and it completely alleviates that entirely. Moving up to the knitted upper, this is where the similarity comes in with the Vivo Biome. And on that note of knitted, we've got the Primus Light Knit. This is a knitted upper, but it's less sock-like, in my opinion, than the Biome or the MOTUS FLEX, because if you can see, if you look closely, the MOTUS FLEX is as close to, I actually don't know if it's a single piece or not, but it's as close to a single piece of knitted sock upper, whereas the Primus Light, it's made of more components, and because of that, it's also a different knitted pattern as well. So there's just less give in certain areas than others. It still has give all over the shoe, apart from maybe the heel, but it's just, comparatively speaking to like the MOTUS FLEX, this is a tighter, stiffer, if you can say that, feeling than the MOTUS FLEX. And this is what got me really excited as well to talk about, because if you missed out on the Vivo Biomes, there's a bunch of videos on my channel just to check those out if you're interested. These will come out again. These are a custom fit, personalized fit, not necessarily custom. It's not fully bespoke is what I'm trying to say, but you can choose a size, amend the width, amend the length, just to try and fit your feet. Limited run, expensive, relatively speaking, like 260 quid for these, also unavailable right now. And I also didn't buy a pair when they went on sale, whereas these are available, I'm gonna say all year round now, because it's just one of their range, because they've got the MOTUS FLEX and then they've got the MOTUS Strength. There's like nothing to it, and it's just so darn comfortable. And I went abroad recently where it was really hot, and I took Primus Light Knit, I took my Geocore 3s, and I traveled in these, and I basically lived in these the whole time. I ended up putting my Primus Light knit on. But because of the heat and because I'm mid-30s and this is apparently what happens now, my feet swell. So they just really pressed against the Primus Light knit. They were better in my Geocourt 3s, but again, after I'd been on my feet and off my feet and things like that, they start getting tight just because of how, it doesn't normally happen in the UK anywhere near as bad as that. I ended up just sticking with these because they had the space. The sock just kept on stretching and there's no hard edges specifically to speak of. It all just kind of spilled out with my feet. They're obviously not too hot either as well. Even though you've got the insole in, the sock-like nature of them means that your feet just tend to be, it seems like they're a bit more breathable. That's enough gushing about the sock. It really is great though. The lace is the other thing on these, unlike with the Biomes. The lace on this I have actually used, I use it to tighten up. The one thing I wasn't really looking forward to, I'll be honest, is this toggle. From previous experience with other Vivos that have this toggle, because I've got a pair. Here's a filthy pair of Firm Ground Swim Run Tracker. Can't remember. But these have the, so as, perfect example. You can see on here, the toggle's on, and look what I've had to do is I had to tie it. You have to, this is all it came with. I don't know if this was what it was always like on all of them, but it's just like, it just had like a handle. Dusty as well. So when I saw the toggle, I'm like, oh my gosh, have I got to tuck it underneath? But no. They, I don't know why I was so excited about it either. But if you can see, they just put a hook on it and it just hooks on. So then it's just never going anywhere. None of this tucking it under the lace, anything like that. And also this is like a simple latch lever type thing now as well. So I don't know when that came in. This is the first time I've interacted with it since, because I've been kind of avoiding that type of lace solution. So yeah, now that I've seen that and experienced that, if that's what's on everything moving forward, amazing, really happy with that. The lace is also elastic as well. So if you do have larger feet, for me, it was just, I actually just add a little bit of tightness just around the top bridge bit where it does tighten up, left it on the rest of my foot. It's just a little bit of tightness around the ankle just to make sure it's not going to slide off. So use cases for the MOTUS FLEX, for me, everyday wear, traveling, comfy, walks, lounging around the house, whatever it is, these are amazing. These are so, like, I think this is like one of the closest things to ultimate comfort in a shoe. It's like a pair of trackies, like a tracksuit bottoms, just comfy hoodie, all that stuff. For me, these are just the ultimate in comfort. Honestly, these are S-tier comfort for me. These are neck and neck, not even neck and neck actually, because they're kind of, I'd argue that these two, the MOTUS FLEX and the VIVOBAREFOOT, are slightly different leagues because this is kind of got a weird customization element to it. You can buy these straight off the shelf. If your feet are not uber wide or uber long, grab yourself a pair of these because they're so damn comfortable. But these, I work out in these are my gym trainers now. These are my casual everyday comfies. Yeah, these are my go-to. If I can wear these and get away with it, I will wear these as much as possible. To the point where I now have demoted my Primus Light knits because these are not, when you've tried these, you don't go back to these. Now, one thing I can't necessarily speak to yet is the longevity of the shoe, on how far you can go in it, how many miles you can run in it, whatever, because I've only had them for a month. However, I've brutally worn them for the past sort of 30 days. Again, not in extreme environments or anything like that, quite urban, but I've been for a lot of different walks and there's no sign, no obvious signs, no obvious signs of any wear and tear, no obvious signs of defects. But the really interesting thing is, I was thinking about this though, is there's also no signs yet, anyway, of any stress points. Because that's the other thing. I've seen a lot of, I see stuff where people say, oh, you get a pair of, here's a pair of Tracker Firm Grounds, I think it is. So here on the left foot is the sole's coming slightly away from the shoe. It's not got any worse than what that is right now, since I've had them for a few years now, and I do still wear them fairly frequently in the winter. But it seems like all of the typical stress points in the sole So like the seam where your toes bend on the inside and the out, the arches of your feet, the outside, everything like that. Because there's literally less sole, there is just this filler bit, that, or gap, should I say, that's got a bit of coating on it to prevent water ingress. It seems like there's not really much to get stressed from general wear. The only thing I can possibly think that might go, and again, just because you can kind of see it in different shoes over time, is maybe the laces, if you keep tugging on them and changing them a lot, don't know. But beyond that, and maybe this back bit, there's like a reinforced heel as well, which I quite like. The rubber comes up at the back. There's a attached heel piece that also has a tab for you to pull on, but again, it's stitched in. So maybe, again, purely hypothesizing here, that was a big word. I don't think under general use that these will fall to pieces on your feet. Now, there is always exceptions to the rule. I see no end of people going, I wore these for like 3 months and they fell apart. I've got a lot of different shoes, so I spread my usage out. Again, when it comes to me and using my shoes, I have a bad habit and I keep buying shoes for different occasions. So my actual hourly wear and tear on each pair of shoes is less because it's averaged out over all of them. But that being said, I've got some shoes that are years old now and they're not deteriorated. So, you know, your mileage may vary, but for me right now, no issues, obviously in the first month. But I can't really see them falling apart in the near future. So final thoughts are the MOTUS FLEX is an absolute essential. If you're looking for just an everyday kind of wear, travel trainers, comfies, you want to go on some walks, I honestly think that these are a fantastic all-rounder. The one thing, like I said before, is it is just a sock with a sole almost. So if you're going for like hiking or anything like that, or terrain where you might hit some rough ground and your feet roll and things like that, these could probably slip off. So you're probably going to want to get something that's got a bit more of an attachment to your feet, like a boot, like a tracker. But yeah, beyond that, if you're just doing like urban environments and simple walking and things like that, these, in my opinion, are they feel amazing on the feet, and I think they're a must. If you've got the money, they're I think about 165 quid. So again, Vivo shoes are not cheap, but they're not the most expensive. They're not a pair of Vivo Biomes, but in my opinion, they are the next best thing. So if you are looking to buy a pair, I'll leave links in the description to take you over to Vivo Barefoot's website to check them out. If you've not bought a pair before and you want to pull the trigger and finally get yourself some, there will be a referral code for 15 to 20% off your first order. For everyone else, just use the link, it'll ping you over there. Let me know if you buy a pair. Let me know what color as well. I've got black. I think I've got to get a white pair now and replace my Primus Light Knit. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. And so you don't miss the very next video, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.